we go into our next quarterfinal. We go into XlorD versus Cash.
It's going to be the other side of the bracket. Our next semifinalist here to be determined. Quarterfinal still best of 3. We're going to move on to best of 5 from there. As I mentioned earlier, XlorD has had a wonderful half of the year. Last year, in the DreamHack, in Meisterschaft, he has been looking absolutely terrifying. Cash, good in his own way, but not with the same level of results. It seems like XlorD is going into this as the favorite, but XlorD, the only player here today whom we haven't seen play yet. Against Blade in the first round, he got a death win because Blade, once again, didn't show up. So here we're going to have the first chance now to see him play. How much has he been practicing? How much has he been able to prepare over the winter break and so on? I imagine there should have been some time, but with XlorD, you never know with his work schedule. He's going up against Cash now, so let's get into it.
Indeed. Two absolute juggernauts of the European scene. XlorD, the German champion, going into the ESL Meisterschafts finals once again without dropping a single map, which is absolutely crazy. Cash flying a little bit under the radar here recently. Not the biggest success for him. As you said, he wasn't really sure what to play, what race to play, what is he best with? And now he decides to go for Orcs once again for the second time in this tournament. Two European juggernauts facing each other. XlorD for Germany versus Cash from Russia. Here we go.
They have only met 2 times in recorded history, at least on War3 info, which is pretty crazy. It was last year, at the beginning of the year for the Rising Star Cup 12 and the Rising Star Cup finals. Both went to XlorD in best of 5 series. Once Cash was playing Orc and he lost, and once he was playing Night Elf, but it seems like, at least for the time being, the Night Elf days are over. He's sticking with Orc here once again. We're starting off on Northern Isles and are seeing an opening that looks all too standard. No Farseer, no off-race Night Elf, no Crypt Lord even on XlorD's side. We're seeing standard all the way through.
All right, before we go into the nitty-gritty, Remo, do we have a couple of new supporters for the Back to Warcraft stream, maybe?
Yeah, wait a second. Where did he leave off?
I think it's Jazar.
Yeah, true. Jazar with the 34 months. Martinch, thank you for the sub. Testy Test with the 23 months. Chaos Front with the €5 says 5 for War3 champions and 5 for you. To a happy new year full of Warcraft. Thank you. Nicholas Make Revix with 100 bits. Claday with the 11 months says birthday soon. And Azul with the €20 says, come on guys, let's show some love for this amazing game. Hell yeah, absolutely. That's what this Warcraft this weekend is all about. Coming together as a community and celebrating Warcraft 3 and War3 champions. Our favorite platform. So, here we go. We have the early game starting. DK, Blade Master is going to be about creeping early on, about gathering experience and items as much as you can. Blade Master on a big map like this can definitely stack up quite intensely with lots of levels and claws and late game tier 3. He can be the powerhouse for the Orc. XlorD not playing Crypt Lord anymore. Many units out there do. It's so weird with XlorD. He was the first one to impressively introduce Crypt Lord, and then after a few nerfs, he lost all faith in the hero. Not even playing it in the mirror anymore. And I'm pretty sure he's going to play DK all the way through.
Yeah, I would think so too. We don't see XlorD against Orc too often because in the German Meisterschaft, yeah, there were a couple of Orcs, but not too many matches there by XlorD against them. And in Europe, who really is there? Spiral switching races. Oh, now a little bit of a harass. Blade Master at 73, putting in some damage, kind of trapping the DK. Coil used to execute the Murloc, and the experience goes to XlorD. And that was a pretty big one. Gives him level 2 claws and mantle for him. And of course, Unholy Aura unlocked.
Amazing items for XlorD. These are absolutely the perfect ones. And Cash's early game here isn't working out at all. Not only did he not get the last hit, the mana pool. The mana pool is a really big deal. This determines how well you can harass later on tier 2, because you don't really want to buy clarities for a Blade Master early. You want to save as much gold as you can moving to tier 3 with a TC and so on. So this early game already not the greatest for Cash at all. He got hardly any experience, and if now he falls back to creep, he knows he's going to be behind XlorD most likely, who is level 2 already. Will be getting more rods, and the German off to a hot start.
You know what time it is, Remo? It's a very historic...
Game time!
It is a very historic moment right here. Because it is the moment where more than 100,000 people follow back to Warcraft on Twitch.
Damn.
We did it! 6 figures, baby! This is the best weekend. I was about to say the entire year, but Jesus, this weekend is getting me emotional, guys.
This means we're gonna have a show match, festivity, extravaganza, fun evening dedicated to this 100,000 with the Dust Boys, Bidu and Carson. We're gonna have a lot of games, perhaps a drink or two, a lot of fun in general. When exactly that's gonna be happening, we don't know yet, but we're gonna have a friendly competition and a lot of fun in the meantime. And yeah, thank you for this milestone. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. And you enabled us to get it. Knubikquake is enabling us to get 5 more subs. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you, Deverber, with the sub, and Sai Bambucha with the sub as well. Guys, you've been absolutely amazing. Unlike Cash's early game, that one has been horrendous. He's still not level 2. He has hardly any items. He's been trying to sneak some kills on the enemy side. XlorD saw the creeping of his natural and then came in to harass it and then falls back. This one greatly confuses me. He could have stuck around for the Ogre Magi, but alright, let's this one go to Cash. In the DK, it's just a little bit too late. The timing off there for XlorD, but he still has decent experience. Certainly more than the Blade Master has. Oh, he gets one last hit. That's finally level 2.
Okay. As we said, it's a lot about experience in this matchup, and the Blade of Cash was struggling with that quite a bit. So far, XlorD seems to be in full control, good inventory. Even if he loses a couple of HP, it's totally fine because he got that sweet replenishment potion. Lich is out already to help against the Blade Master harass with Frost Armor. On the other side, Tier 3 has already started for Cash. Now, he needs to be the one creeping up. He needs to power level the Shadowhunter to level 3 and beyond. Was passing some items over and now starts to creep, but not the biggest forces yet. Only 3 grunts. This will take some time. XlorD is taking a step back as well and creeps his Tuska cap.
Yeah, seems like he's got the Frost Nova first, realizing the blade was low earlier and he's only level 2. He can pressure him fairly effectively. Shadow had to give his clarity over to the blade to make sure he has mana, so the Shadowhunter can't use clarities right now to replenish his mana pool unless he wants to buy more. Again, the mana usage early on, absolutely a big deal. Oh, look at XlorD's play. This is something I've been seeing from him on ladder a little bit recently, with especially the DK going to harass the Shadowhunter. This time he's bringing DK and Lich. And as I said, it should be Frost Nova, and oh, this could be dangerous. There's no heal wave here yet.
Oh, that's level 2. That's the heal wave, but that's 1 grunt. Ouchie, Cash, you're in trouble. Block from the DK. XlorD always excels in micro. That's a coil use. Can he reach for another Nova? Nighttime just ended. Split second later, and there might have been vision and snare on the Lich now. Is this backfiring without Frost Armor? Yes, TP out.
Oh, one Fiend might be caught. Yeah. A little bit of a mistake there by XlorD bringing them in too far, but still a decent trade for XlorD. This Shadowhunter is not level 3 yet. The Shadowhunter needs level 3. It does, well, I can't say it doesn't matter how many Fiends you kill. Killing Fiends matters, but the most important thing is levels. The #1 most important thing. And the Shadow not being level 3 in the tier 3 stage is horrible. You can't really take a fight. However, XlorD's experience also not the greatest. He's not level 3 DK. He's not level 2 Lich. But if he gets these 2 level ups, XlorD is going to be in a wonderful position to take a fight. 3rd Heroes should also be coming soon. And this is where XlorD has his own spin on the matchup. Almost everyone plays Dark Ranger nowadays against Orc, but XlorD has told me plenty of times that he sort of hates the Dark Ranger against Orc, and he feels that Pit Lord is way better, but doesn't quite have the resources for it just yet.
Absolutely lovely. Now that the delay is over and you celebrate the 100k with us. Seriously, a little bit hard to cast with emotions coming into play, but no emotions here. Maybe there is, but just anger and hate for each other as they start to brawl. Nova coil, but heal wave against that. XlorD borrows the Fiend to dodge the ensnare. Indeed, high level plays from both of them. Cash, not the biggest opportunity here, I feel, with only 40 supply, without the necessary levels. Dark Ranger it is.
Making me look bad. XlorD, what happened? I thought Dark Ranger was such a bad hero. Why no Pit Lord? Oh, last hit goes to the Lich. No experience for the DK thanks to the Hex. But another
Gets
grunt
it
going
now.
down. Experience there gathered from the DK. There's level 3 for him now. XlorD so strong. Cash in no position to take a fight. This early game has been bad. The mid game wasn't good. Cash never got off the ground. This orc strategy can be good if you have a good start into the game. You need to win it in the late game with your hero levels, but Cash has 2-2-1. It's an absolute disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only is this already bad, but there's also no leveling on the TC for now, and we already have what's becoming more of a staple in this matchup, the early Banshees. So the Blade Master's damage is already low, the Orc's damage is already low, and this will intensify with Curse.
Yeah, this is looking really rough for Cash right now. He's going to have to pull off some sort of miracle to get back into this game. We have a few more supporters coming in. I like Bourbon with 100 bits, FKO69 with 32 months, Al Roker with the 8 months saying thank you for doing what you do, Casper with a sub, Havuz with a 41 months, Sarman with a 22 months says 100k exclamation mark. Floppy10 with a 30 months says B2W number 1. Fans Fur with a 25 euros says rats. The Cowboy Spider with a 4 months says you guys deserve it. And Olivier G with a 5 euros says good job boys. Love to watch since years, even when I never played a game. Thank you guys all very, very much.
That's amazing.
Seems like we are witnessing the German taking the lead. Now, the game is not over yet. I mean, we're still climbing up towards 50 supply. Blade Master just got the big item, which is the Helm of Valor and an Air G Tome. That's actually really good drops for him. But still, the levels are the big problem. Blade no level 3, TC no level 3, Shadowhunter finally level 3. About time. XlorD, though, looks a lot stronger if you ask me. He's got level 3 Ledge, level 3 DK, good items, and can pressure right now. This would usually be the perfect time to go for an expansion. 50 supply Expo, something we've been seeing a lot from Undead in multiple matchups. And XlorD is making another Acolyte, so it seems like that will be the play here. Going for an expansion while pressuring on the enemy side.
So many skeletons as well to intensify creeping. Furbolg is falling, pendant of energy. Nice little gift. XlorD, yeah, he's just jumping from one from one objective to the next and succeeds with that. Can the crits help him maybe? Can there be good stomps? Nice snipe of that statue. There's only one remaining. Nuke on the Walker in anticipation of sad Banshees to have a little bit of dispel. One of the wind on the Blade Master couldn't really prevent it with an Invo Potion. I didn't want to. Nova and Coil are such a devious weapon against the Orc army. Super aggressive by XlorD. Losing Fiends in the process because he can't use it defensively. But I think the trades are still going well.
He's not using Frost Armor. Does he not have Frost Armor?
He does, he does.
That was very weird. Didn't use any Frost Armor there in that fight. I mean, on statues and Fiends, you can kind of understand it because they might get purged. But on heroes, usually you want to use Frost Armor. I don't know, maybe you wanted to retain more mana for Nova. But anyways, this was a decent fight for Cash. I think not the best execution by XlorD. He didn't expand in the meantime, most importantly. Continuing to creep for now. Dark Ranger getting close to her level up. Level 3 for her is a really big deal. Lots of bonus damage from the Black Arrow and stronger skeletons. And there's another red camp up for grabs. This is probably what we're going to see the next engagement.
That's a big one there. Oh, Claws +9 for this Lich, who's now at +22. Crazy. Okay, the fight is coming in a little early here. Walker again instantly sniped, so take away that dispel opportunity. Blade is getting a statue in reverse, and now the reinforcements are trickling in, but XlorD's damage is seemingly very, very high. But again, no Frost Armor. There's very limited mana, so almost 1-for-1 trades. He starts to use the coils a little more defensively now. Cash actually saving that Kodo Beast. 41 supply though.
Could use some more coils for a few more kills. Still not using Frost Armor. What is happening, XlorD?
Yeah, he does have the mana now. All aggressive.
Yeah, Frost Armor is 40 mana, so it's pretty cheap. If you spam it, it will become noticeable. But it's also extremely good on heroes. The damage reduction of Frost Armor is immense. Not only bonus armor, of course, but also providing movement speed slow and attack speed slow on the Orc forces, melee forces, which is absolutely tremendous, and the Blade Master's nightmare. Very surprised. I'm certainly going to have to ask him about this later on. Dark Ranger going for a heal scroll. Mana is dropping low pretty much across the board. Shadowhunter's going to have to get back to the main for clarities, where the statues for the undead are doing the job of regenerating.
Yeah, Cash is doing a good job staying in the game after this early game. But how does he turn the tide? With a level 3 TC, maybe, but then there's silence against it. Banshee, no master training yet, not even queued. XlorD is breaking upkeep instead. Item-wise, nothing on the Lich, Invul on the DK, Heal Scroll on the Dark Ranger.
Yeah, the way the Orc can sometimes take over the early game is by having the stronger third hero. TC scales way better than the Dark Ranger, but hold that thought. We're going to the next fight. I think we saw Frost Armor there finally. Stomp from the TC coming in, but only level 1. Didn't connect with that much in the end. Blade Master, though, looking for kills. With the Purges coming through, the Fiends are in trouble. DK getting focused once again. XlorD still very sparingly using the Frost Armor and ate that Stomp fully. Kodo Beast walking forward, trying to get off the Devour. Lich still with plenty of Novas left. There was a Dust as well, so these Fiends are revealed. Nova into the backline now. That hurts. The Berserker's certainly feeling that damage, but so do the Fiends. He's missing all the crits! 2 missed in a row, 3 crits missed in a row! But he finally gets the kill. TC, however, gets surrounded. Can he get him out of there somehow? Invul Potion transferred. That should get him out. Invul used on the DK right away as well. Kodo taken out. DK level 4. And that could be Death Pact for more safety. The Nova in the back! Oh my god, and that is pretty much everything going down. Yeah. Shadowhunter, hardly any mana left. And the GG is called. Cash loses map 1. XlorD, with some very good plays and a few surprising ones, takes the first map convincing.
Indeed. Wow. Very explosive fights here. Really cool to see. Love this matchup if it's the norm. This tier 3 late game high level heroes is just Warcraft at its best. It's fantastic. Yeah, that's 1-0 for XlorD right there. Cash putting up a strong fight, but it felt like the dominant force here was XlorD all the way. I hope Cash can find his rhythm a little earlier in the next game when it is his map choice. And then we have ourselves a series.
It was really all down to the early game. His early game was just way too bad. Blade Master was super weak. He hardly got anything. He was lucky to get the enemy Ogre Magi. XlorD could have very well been there and stolen that, and then this would have been an absolute unmitigated disaster. I mean, it was bad enough already. But as I said earlier, this Orc strat can be very good. Blade Master, tier 3, 1 base, but you have to have a good game plan. Your creep routes need to be in order. You have to know where you want to go and what's going to be effective. And the early game for Cash was not effective at all. He was playing from behind that entire game. He fought his way back fairly well when XlorD there took the first fight in the middle. And I would say XlorD wasn't the one to execute that perfectly. But yeah, you have to get off to a better start if you want to have a chance against XlorD, who still is absolutely one of the greatest players in Europe.
Yeah, definitely in the top 4. Wouldn't be a big surprise. The Matcherino is still going strong for W3C as we have a direct contribution by Marrow. $20 to the future prize pools. Thank you very much. And I think now that we broke 2,750, can we collectively boost that up to 3K to make it a nice round number? That would be wonderful. That would be very wonderful. I mean, it would be a little gift for the W3C team for sure to see the 3 in front. You can find the link for this Matcherino with exclamation mark support WC3, or you go to matcherino.com and look for W3 champions. Dude, if you tell me that it's possible to get 100,000 followers with Warcraft 3 competitive content. That's so crazy. Yeah. Still
it was a pretty successful weekend for us here at the beginning of the year for War 3 Champions. And I would go so far as to say for the entire Warcraft 3 community.
Yeah.
That's going to be, a wonderful couple of hours here. And of course, there's going to be more of these tournaments coming in the future. The next one has been announced for March. When exactly, we'll have to figure out with the scheduling of all the other events and all that stuff. So our next map is going to be starting soon. My style with the 300 bits. Thank you very much. And here we go. We're off to the races here. Map number 2, Echo Isles.
XlorD punching for the semi-final. That's where he is in the ESL Meisterschaft as well. The finals there, by the way, January 23. Todd is there too, so ESL Meisterschaft champions could also be W3C champions. But yeah, this next map is Echo Isles.
A map where many undeads nowadays will be playing the XlorD, which can certainly be very effective, especially on this map. But XlorD, one of the few who has absolutely renounced the XlorD, which is yeah, so ironic with how much he loved him before. He's playing a DK standard build here once again, and I think XlorD has been looking so strong with this style. Now, we haven't seen it too much in tournaments on the highest level, because in DreamHack, normally the orcs don't get too far, and also in the Meisterschaft, XlorD doesn't have the strongest competition there. But especially on ladder, we have seen, if you were watching, which I was, XlorD, for example, against Grubby multiple times has looked very, very impressive. I feel like XlorD really figured out when to apply pressure and when to be annoying. You could say that is also a strength of him as a personality trait, and it seemed like he figured it out as well in this matchup. If Happy has one weakness, it is this matchup, and I think it all comes down to aggressive desire. Happy always plays passive, always goes creeping, and I think this is a big mistake a lot of the time, whereas XlorD is much more willing to be way more aggressive and throw wrenches in the gears of the orc. And we saw how painful that can be if your blade doesn't get the levels and the shadow and the TC suffer the consequences later on with low levels themselves. This time, no Blade Master. We see a Farseer opening, which I always like on Echo Isles. It's a small map, hardly any creeps, so leveling triple hero with a Blade Master style, super hard to do. This can be very good for a Farseer expansion play, but this is a Farseer super fast tech play with a Barracks coming in. XlorD scouts this right away and will know instantly what's happening.
Okay, takes a passive creep route with a little bit of a green spot right here to be close to his base, to be able to respond to the sad Farseer. And there it is. Farseer harass. How well can he pull that off? No Nerup yet. 3 ghouls, of course, here. Rod of Necromancy should be available. And the Beastery is coming. The Barracks is coming for Cash, who opts for the green spot here.
Oh, the DK. Is he in time?
Oh, so
that was so close. Ooh, that was half a second. Would have been kind of a disaster for Cash if he missed that one.
Yeah. But he got it. So that's already a little bit of a success. Steals the item, steals the experience, and steals, if you want to say so, the mana.
Little skeletons up here. Look at that. The skeletons are even blocking the way towards the ziggurat.
Yeah.
But might not be able to successfully do this. Actually, they do. The wolves couldn't connect. The Farseer couldn't connect. XlorD, he is playing this quite greedy. He's not upgrading the Nerup Tower. He says, no, I don't need a Nerup Tower to deal with you. That is a new play. Just my skeletons and fiends are good enough.
Okay, what's he doing with this tech? Next burrow coming, shop coming now as he needs it. Grunts in as well. What's the strat then? Was he playing Wyvern with this? Okay, that steal goes a little better for XlorD.
I would hope no Wyvern, because normally they don't work.
I know you hate them in this matchup.
Yeah, against good undeads, normally they know where they have to be, they know where they have to do, which is delay tier 3, get plenty of fiends, get a web, and, well, just fight with statues. Wyvern are extremely unreliable, but that doesn't mean they can't be playable. If they come as a surprise and you hit a good timing, they can work out, but they are a cheese, basically. They are a cheese. If the opponent plays properly against them, you cannot win. But if he makes mistakes, it is possible. So we have the first Beastery coming down, and a War Mill. Lumber is a little bit too low for Cash to slap down 2 buildings here right away. In the Acolyte Scout by XlorD, once again outstanding. His Acolyte usage is always absolutely marvelous.
We have another donation on the stream right here. Rigor Mortis, €13.37. Lead. Hail to the casting gods. Thank you so much. And 10 gifted subs by Wayne John Wayne. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thank you guys very, very much. The Sunday is doing just as well as, or just continuing just as well as the Saturday was. I like that.
Indeed. Ooh, Scroll of the Beast for XlorD. Cash has this tendency to skip reinforced defenses. If you have a couple of Fiends and the Score of the Beast, could use it against Burrows. And then Cash's game is ruined.
Could also just use it to contest the map, bring out the Lich, fight for creeps, and use the scroll to maintain position. Manic Twig, thank you for the gifted sub. Acolyte was still alive for a little while longer, scout the natural, until XlorD finally denied it to get out the Lich. XlorD realizing the opponent has a fast tier 2 hero because of the fast tech, so he's going to fall back a little bit, waiting for his own second hero to join the ranks. But the DK leveled fairly well already. Could have been level 3 if he had just been that tiny bit faster early on, but he's going to get it here soon. Ideally, you want to be fast level 3 with a Farseer. If he was, he could be pressuring with the Wolves very well right now, and then set up an expansion across the map. That is what we see being attempted. The TC going over there to solo creep the natural, but guess what? XlorD instantly there with the scout. XlorD has perhaps overtaken Happy in scouting, I almost want to say.
It's pretty crazy indeed. Torrent Chieftain level 2, finally. XlorD is doing a lot of things right. And that's the objective now for the mid-game. Prevent this expansion. Make sure that Cash can never establish 2 bases. And then the game is pretty much his, as he will have the tech advantage. And just the better army at a point.
XlorD was considering leaving the Lich there in the main to get the orb and then come out on the map. Lich's experience definitely a problem, but he is getting something else done which is very valuable, which is cancelling the expansion. DK is coming to the southern avenue of Echo Isles. This wasn't scouted for and absolutely cannot be prevented. The best hope here for Cash is to punish this cancel. He needs to run over there with the speed scroll and snare a few targets and kill something. He cannot allow XlorD to get away here scot-free.
Looks like he will, though. Even the peon got killed. So if he wants to set up a new expansion, he has to use a new peon, and that is even more time for XlorD to get his destroyer upgrade, to get a possible third hero, to get the orb. But Cash is coming in again with ensnares. Oh, the dodge. Can't even get a single kill. Gets the TP out eventually. But that's pretty much it. And that's another little win for XlorD. Well, in this case, a pretty big one.
Yeah, at least he forced the TP. If XlorD had just walked this off, this would have been a complete disaster. But this is now a straight-up disaster for Cash. I mean, his levels are looking good. Farseer is going to get 3, TC's going to get 3. But Orc being tier 2 only is not viable against Undead late game. Well, I guess viable only in the case of an expansion. You have to be working with more supply, with more economy. If you're stuck tier 2 versus tier 3, it is extremely hard to win. We see the expansion coming up again. Orc Expos take 2.5 minutes. At least the TP is gone now for XlorD, so perhaps his expansion will be coming through. But XlorD is also getting stronger by the minute, and things like Destroyers should be coming in soon.
Yeah, it's already done. Like, the upgrade is already done. We see a little bit of a XP lead at the moment for Cash with the TC level 3 that might turn into a power spike. We'll see where that goes. Lich is not equipped well, no claws at all, no additional damage. And maybe it's the time for Cash now. Supply lead, XP lead. He needs to use this power spike now.
Skeleton at the tavern. Dark Ranger, usually the call against this tier 2 mass by the Orc, but Pitlord can also be played. Here it's the Dark Ranger. For silence against the TC, definitely very valuable. You know there's not going to be any walkers for a long time at least, so the TC cannot dispel the silence, but he can break out of it with invuln.
Good inventory indeed, very tanky. And the expo is at 60%. XlorD is far away. And Cash is starting to steal some experience. This will result in a low-level triple hero combo for XlorD.
Yeah. Bit of a problem on Echo Isles for all races playing triple hero. Very hard to level overall. XlorD would love to just creep greedily in the corner of the map if this was Twisted or LR, but here it's not doable. Excellent game sense so far by XlorD, by the way, knowing exactly where he can do it, where he can go at what point. Now he's willing to take the fight over here. TC breaks out of the silence with the invul potion. Perfect stomp in the backline. XlorD perhaps not expecting this move. Morphing a lot of destroyers over here, diving them deep in, perhaps a little bit too deep. That definitely seems to be a little too far. One of them is going to be going down. Oh, what? Not quite actually gets saved with the coil, perhaps. Oh, the last shot from the Berserker takes out the destroyer. And now the expansion is about to be up.
And the Kodo survived with 16 HP. Plus the Expo is done. Cash is finding a nice comeback into this game. Did he weather all the storms though? Is that enough for him to accumulate a big army? He has to run down quite fast to be able to defend this. 2 ghouls moving south as well. And XlorD continues to creep. Is that enough for level 3?
Not quite, but he is very, very close now.
Ghouls joining the fight. Statue joining the fight. No Banshees in this game for XlorD. Probably no time for that. Ships in the night. Mana potion on the TC. You got a talisman. Super powerful. And now he sees Expo is done. Can he fight this in the choke?
So morphing all the destroyers again. This is dangerous. If they get ensnared, they could die very quickly. Needs to be more careful with the positioning this time. Lots of piercing damage here for Cash. Very good against destroyers. But if the fight drags out very long and lots of forces are lost, this piercing damage isn't good at dealing with heroes. Which might be what this comes down to. But Cash, he's got the big army now. And XlorD, he has had great game sense so far of where he can go when. But now it's an awkward position. He knows he's not that strong currently, but it seems like he has to fight because of this Expo.
Good amount of melee units here. Wolf summoned. How fast are they dispelled? Instantly. This nuke on the Kodo Beast works out well. It's finally level 3, but the destroyer goes down super quickly too. As you mentioned, the piercing damage against them is superb. And the micro of Cash is nice as well, repositioning these headhunters, but now they're a little bit exposed. So is the ledge! Scroll the Beast Invo Potion! That was so fast! What a quick succession of item usage here by XlorD. Coil saves him, of course, as well. What a move! Is it enough though?
The TC has so many stomps left to use. It's about the heroes now. XlorD is trying to win with his heroes only. But I don't think he has the mana, the levels I mean, and the mana pool to sustain it to do it. Lich getting ensnared again, getting focused and killed. GG is called by XlorD. And Cash gets the win here, somewhat surprisingly to me, after a really rough early game. XlorD, he got the cancel off, but it wasn't enough at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think it kind of invested into destroyers. I think he should have stayed with more statues and not fly those destroyers in the way he did in the first fight bottom right. Maybe he could have even afforded to counter expand. He got the cancel of the Orc expansion at a good timing there. But once that expansion is up for the Orc and he shoots up to 65 supply, that can still be scary. Cash got the win there, kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah. Cool to see faster expansion work. It's been a while since I saw this succeed. And yeah, maybe XlorD wasn't really ready for this. I don't know. But good for us again. After a very straightforward day 1, we go into the second series where we go full distance. And if that continues, oh boy, we're going to cast until February probably with this W3 Champions Finals. Could be a bad day for Orcs, as Cooper was eliminated on map 3 against Todd, and then Cash, and of course Grubby is facing Sad later if none of them makes it to the round of 4. Would be quite a disaster for the Horde.
And our third map will be Turtle Rock. There was the choice for the last map between Turtle Rock and Autumn Leaves, but we still haven't seen the new maps yet. We have 2 new maps in the pool here for War 3 Champions. Just like it is on ladder, Autumn Leaves and Ruins of Ashara. But as so often, the players don't feel too comfortable on it, so they haven't selected it yet. Perhaps we're going to see it throughout the rest of the day. Players are in, players are ready. We're counting down for the decision here in our quarterfinals. Who's going to make it to the semis? Cash or XlorD?
High stakes, of course. We're loading in Turtle Rock. Could favor XlorD here. Could be crazy strong heroes later on, as it is a big map with a lot of experience together. And of course, big items as well. There's 4 red spots here on this map. It fell out of the meta for quite a while. And then it was changed a little bit that there's no close spawns anymore. And WGL had enough of Twisted Meadows, so they replaced Twisted with the old school Turtle Rock. And here at W3 Champions, we see it as well. XlorD spawning at the 11 o'clock position in the red 4 mouse boards. And Cash in the bottom right at the 4 o'clock. Specialty of this map, no critters, makes creeping for the undead a little harder. And they both spawn at the same lane, so I say this for 12 plus years. This shop in the middle of the 2 bases is super important because there's a watch award that stays there until the end of the game. And with a Blade Master, you can creep that solo.
At the very beginning, in fact, if you are brave enough to do it, it's going to be a Blade Master first on this map. Absolutely not surprising. This is a big map. This is lots of creeps. And this is potentially a really good orc map. There's a lot of creep tricks, that's the way you say that, you can do. Like, for example, going for the merchant right away. You can run into the back with Windwalk and attack with the circlet. The Ogre Magi right there can even bring in the Grunt. But if the DK is around to harass, it's dangerous to do. So we'll see what he does. Also, tier 2 creeping with the Shadow Hunter is really good. The preferred one to go to is the red camp on the other spawning position. And also TC creeping late game tier 3 is very strong with turtles being everywhere. And in general, there being lots of big items and lots of experience. And on top of that, there's also stuff you can do like Ogre Lord pulls with end snares and surrounds. So in general, this can be a wonderful map for Orc to creep on. But of course, on the flip side, for Undead, it can also be very good. XlorD on map 2 was definitely lacking high-level heroes, which is something you cannot reliably get on Echo. Here, this could be level 5, 4, 3 heroes easily heading our ways.
High stakes indeed. So where does this go from here? A little bit of creeping for the DK, of course. Blade Master, he is doing that trick with the circlet. What's the item? It's of course not the perfect position for the Ogre Magi as you don't drag him out here. But still very powerful and one of the biggest items here. Pendant of Energy. This is one more Windwalk right off the bat.
It's going to be wonderful later for the Shadow Hunter and perhaps the TC once he gets to level 3. DK starting off with the Slippers. Not what he was hoping for exactly. And now there's going to be permanent vision here for all time. You can't dispel it. You can't kill it. Watch Award. This is the only map we see it on. Thank goodness, because this is way too strong if we're being honest. But it is the specialty of Turtle Rock.
We have a tier 2 tech for Cash starting. Same goes for XlorD, slightly behind. It's not going for the level 2, just hunting items. So it's a slower progress towards Unholy Aura, but more items to take it away from the blade.
It's also going to be stealing camps away from Cash's side. Usually with the blade, you want to go out on the map, take out items in neutral positions or at the enemy side, and then secure safe camps for your Shadow Hunter and TC later on. So this is pretty smart by XlorD as well. He's going to get the next one from the Ogre Warrior and could even go for the turtle at the green if he wants. Although that might be a little bit difficult.
Okay. I mean, there's not much to lose here except the HP. Just oh, there's a Fiend actually. I thought he would keep it safe in the back. Ziggurat coming now, and he is stealing that turtle. That makes progress for the Shadow Hunter very, very hard indeed. Not the full green camp, not the full orange. Can't go for the shop. I like the play by XlorD a lot actually.
Yeah, if the Shadow Hunter can solo creep the red camp with his 3 grunts, then he's going to be fine. But and by that I mean the starting position. But that is a little bit difficult to do. The Blade Master would love to be level 3 for that to have a lot of movement across the map. Oh, look at the Acolyte. He cancels the healing. He walks into the back. XlorD always excellent with his Acolyte Scout.
Oh, so good. Double ring, by the way, for Cash. Acolyte dies on purpose now to free up supply for the Lich. Skeleton in the main. Check what's up. Shadow Hunter second. The base is wide open for Cash again. Yeah, it's interesting now. I mean, XlorD scouting has always been superb, and there's only really 2 options, right? Like, natural in front of his base or red spot, and both could be punished if you want to invest the time, or you focus on yourself because there's so much experience on XlorD's side of the map.
Yeah, once again, creep route here is very important. You can be quite creative with that as Orc. If you have a very specific game plan in mind, you can oftentimes sneak in greedy camps if the opponent isn't around. And if you do manage to get jacked or happen to get jacked, you can always use the speed scroll to get out. We see the next Ogre Magi now being attempted. XlorD comes around the corner though at the perfect moment. And this is gonna not be allowed this time.
No Shadow Hunter here to hex, so everything is just controllable and predictable. Also lots of mana to use. They're both contesting this camp still. Ensnare's flying. Can XlorD capitalize from this? Doesn't seem to be the case, and this is a lot of vision for Cash.
It's the same as on Northern Isles in the very early game, where XlorD is around to harass and disrupt, but then he gives up the Ogre Magi in the end. I guess he was afraid of the Shadow Hunter coming in.
Yeah.
The Orc tech is a little bit faster than the Undead, so here definitely quite understandable. Another ring for the Blade, triple ring, 2 of protection, 1 of regen, which is not very good right now. But late game, it's actually really good. Give 1 ring each to the frontline heroes and the ring of regen to one of them as well. And then it's going to be very strong. Of course, now for the creep speed, doesn't have that much, but late game will be valuable.
So do we see an early temple for XlorD? Not really. Needs some more lumber for that, and he needs some ziggurats as well. Burrow upgrade, destroyer upgrade, orbs. So it's a little bit of a creeping fiesta so far. Robe of the Magi, wonderful for the Lich, more damage, and Cash is approaching the red spot. He won't see XlorD coming. As you see, the vision ends here at the tree line. But by pulling them out... Oh, wait. Nice little play here. Hex and 4 units around. Sweet!
Yeah, and it's one of the tricks you can easily do with Orc, either with Hex or with Ensnare. And here we see it. Big item for him to grab up. XlorD is coming to the same camp, but too late for the big boy. Helm of Valor for the Blade Master. This guy is so tanky, it's ridiculous. And the damage also looking not too bad.
Ooh.
Wyvern coming in. Inspired by Grubby here, an early Wind Rider to help with creeping to force Web. But 2 grunts go down for this. And yeah, he got the red camp. But this was not worth it. Painful punish by XlorD. He got the big item here, the Shadow did. But again, experience. Experience is the big problem. Just like it was on Northern.
Exactly, and XlorD is taking a big lead here, and he won't even be hurt despite not having a statue, because there's a rune, of course, dropped at the Magi, so everything is back at green. Another rune bracers. The items continue. He's the ultimate raid boss. But yeah,
if XlorD checks the items, he should never attack the heroes.
No.
Purely go for the units. Unless the Shadow is out of position, I suppose. And this is what XlorD knows to do so well. Look at this. The DK is just solo harassing and threatening and forcing back the Orc. He knows there's not enough Ensnare. There's not enough Speed Scroll, Hex, Stomp yet. This DK is safe. And he knows he can pressure while the Lich is still getting stuff done in the meantime. XlorD is so good in these kinds of scenarios. Maybe he's lacking a little bit of experience against the Farseer Expo play, but against the Blade 1 base, he is looking so strong.
Yeah. We get the Dark Ranger again. So XlorD over the holidays fell in love with the DR, probably. And Potion of Greater Mana. We can be very happy with that for sure. Second red spot also goes to Cash though. TC is in. Has to reapply this block indeed. This is costing some time. XlorD, is he focusing on the second consumable, on more progress on his heroes, or does he want to punish it? Looks like he's smelling blood in the water.
He hasn't scouted this. He just knows, okay, you're not in the middle. The red camp is gone. The only place you can be is up here. But Cash got it already. It was another Helm of Valor. This Blade Master, 1000 HP, 8.6 armor.
So sick.
But I think he lost a Walker, right? Yeah, to the Colnova right there. And XlorD still has lots more experience. Not perhaps the same level of items, although they're not bad. But his levels are looking way better.
Yeah, and at some point, where's Cash creeping? Where does he get the level 3 TC? Where does he get the level 3 Shadow Hunter? Where does he get the level 4 Blade Master? He needs level 2 crits. Big steal for XlorD. Maybe. Nope. Uses the Hex. Well done. Went of mana stealing, not the perfect one. And here we see the weakness of... Ooh. of Wyvern I was about to say, but also for the TC, who's absolutely naked. Is that just a kill? Will he use another coil? He absolutely will. Needs another follow-up and gets it by the Dark Ranger. XlorD. What a perfect execution this is.
Look how expensive he made this whole thing. The DK goes over to scout, and then the Fiend forces the web. He forces a Hex. He forces a speed scroll. In the end, he still gets the TC. It's so impressive how XlorD knows how to play this mid-game, late-game against Blade Master.
Yeah.
And I would love for Happy to take a page out of this book. Don't just go creeping by yourself and ignore everything that's happening. There are windows you can punish, and if you can get far ahead, and XlorD is showing that here.
That's the second big mana potion for XlorD. How is he ever supposed to lose this game with all this experience, with these levels, 50 supplied, and all this mana? Nova, silence, coils everywhere. XlorD on a killing spree, disrupting the creeping once again. And this is a 4 supply kill. Wow.
Sick game by the Lord. In this Blade Master game, Cash had it better early than on Northern Isles, but not even all that much better. The Blade Master didn't go too crazy with the claws, didn't go too crazy with the creeping. Now he finally has a good inventory. This Blade Master is strong, but the rest of the army is tiny.
Yeah, exactly. There's almost no damage at all. There's silence on the TC once again. There's not even endurance aura. So yeah, movement speed advantage definitely on the side of XlorD as well. The Banshees are coming in with the curse. So the Blade Master, yeah, he's at plus 27, but he's missing 1/3 of his attacks, so that doesn't do too well. Cash is trying to find a good fighting position. He's doing his absolute best to get there. Hail Mary play onto the Dark Ranger to create some space for the TEC. Also decent saves on the Kodo. Dark Ranger in constant trouble, but so is the Shadow Hunter. We said it, hero focus might not be the name of the game, but if it's exposed, why not? In the meantime, Headhunters are falling left, right, and center. 40 supply. He needs to hope for some crits and curses that don't prog. But there's a coil, always. Because why? Because 2 potions of greater mana.
Yeah, XlorD is pushing forward. Level 4 on the Lich. He can now start eating skeletons for more mana. But he's been preserving his mana pretty well. And XlorD is making a conscious effort to not spam Frost Armor as much to have more Nova. I mean, this game was over. GG is called. XlorD with 2 insanely impressive performances. His understanding and execution against Blade Master is incredibly strong.
Yeah.
He was suffering against the Farseer, but completely outplayed Cash in the other games.
I agree. That was just where he seems to be better than Cash in this matchup. And so he follows Todd into the semifinal. They will not meet each other because they're in different parts of the bracket, but it could be yet another episode of Happy versus XlorD, because XlorD is already in the final 4, and our third quarterfinal of the day is a very, very special one. It is the Emperor versus Mr. Dreamhack. It is Happy versus the Spoon Terran Thorzane, and that one is up next. Undead versus Human. Can't wait for that. And then, of course, Grubby is stepping into the ring as well. Right after that one in the match versus Sad. And that might fulfill the prophecy of the Todd Grubby semifinal. Whew, this is high stakes here at W3C Season Finals Europe. We have another contribution to the match arena. We're now at 2,758 for future tournaments, especially Season 6. You guys keep on giving, and you guys, I can't wipe that smile off my face. It starts to hurt, actually. Fiddler with the 5. If you want to be as cool as Fiddler or Mero or Tubi or Obson or Simon or Landfra, head over to matcharena.com, look for W3 champions, or use the bot W3C, support W3C. There's the link to that. Would be a wonderful gift to the W3C developers if we could raise that to the 3K for future tournaments. And of course, this team is absolutely amazing, providing more features that we could have hoped for. And they do have a Patreon. If you want to support this in the long run, the project started merely a year ago in March. So it's 10 months, and what they built since then is beyond fantastic. We got ladder, we got matchmaking, we got leagues, we got ranks, we got custom profiles now, and you can support them. At the moment, there's 56 Patreons, and we have 5,000 games a day on their server. Don't be cheap. Help them out. The devs are wonderful people. They worked through all the holidays. It doesn't really matter if it's Thanksgiving or Hanukkah or Christmas or New Year's. I'm privileged to be in the internal Discord there, and I see they're working constantly on this. Any day of the week, any hour of the day, W3C is doing something to improve your experience on this server. So it doesn't really matter. Maybe you just drink one beer or Monster Energy less a month. I know it's a little bit of a blasphemy here, but then you can support them with €1. Every single bit matters. Every single bit of support matters to continue this for all of eternity. And if you are very generous and want to support them on the master tier or above, you can get a custom made portrait just as Hitman or Deuce or Happy, of course, who has his little gnome. You can be as cool as them with a €50 per month support or more. These guys deserve it so much. Remo, do you have anything to add for that? Do we have any new subs?
We're waiting for that. Break and then go.
Okay, Mr. Dominant all of a sudden.